Hello all, it's Svara Kresniansky. Tonight's call we'll be talking about organization and Shalom Bayis and family. So many of our talks are about more heavy things, even though keeping house organized is important as well. It's just not quite as heavy as some of our other topics. If you would like to listen to the recordings of the other topics, you can reach out at adai.org/past-events. And tonight's call, we'll be talking with Bassie Kalmanson, who's a master organizer. And with that, Bassie, let's just jump right in. Can you tell us how you got into this whole thing altogether?
Sure. Hi, Devari. Thank you for having me. I am so excited to be here. I could talk about this topic all day, all night, and in between. Personally, I think since I'm 10, I have been organized I'm trying to think back. I think at the age of 10, I just one day woke up and just started being organized in my home. In my parents' home, I would open the shades and do the laundry and just take care of stuff in the house. My elder sister would cook, and I would organize and clean. So ever since then, also when my mother thinks about it, she's like, you know what, Bassie, I really think you take after my grandmother, Mrs. Kazin. She's a really organized lady. I always remember when we would go to Cleveland for Pesach many years ago, and she had everything set up. Oh my gosh, her candlesticks were already Sunday in her candles when Shabbos is only a few days, a week later. Everything was just so organized. You would walk in, there was hot food, the beds were made. It was just such a wonderful environment and feeling to walk into, and we always loved going there. So that's where my mother claims I definitely get this organizational, qualities from. Introducing myself, I am Bassie Kalmanson, as you had mentioned, and us mothers have many titles. Right now I'll be the professional organizer, just to name one of them. And I do organize homes. When I do walk into the home, I discuss and assess the situation, their lifestyle. I try to give practical tips. And then, of course, those tips that can actually be carried through. I also set up chasanim and kalas when they just move into an apartment or right before, just giving tips and ways they can set it up, go shopping. And I also downsize the elderly. So now, sitting there, Devari, at a bar mitzvah, she's like, Bassie, I do this. I would really love you to talk about organizing and Shalom Bayis. And I was like, okay, sure. I'll give it a shot. I definitely enjoy it. I run my home, and I am really happy to share. And hopefully after the call, there will be some tips that you can all implement in your own home. So now that Pesach is around the corner, this is definitely the right time to have such a call. Just want to let you know that dust isn't chametz, and our children are not the carbon Pesach. Also, you'll see that once you start organizing, some of the projects you might get into, if you're starting with a room and, oh my gosh, there's all this clothing, you don't know what to do with it, it might be a project that you really have to tackle later. It's not for Pesach. Pesach, you're really wanting to just take away the chametz. I know many people think they look at it as a spring cleaning, but let's stay focused, be calm, get the chametz out of the house, and eventually you will definitely get to the part of organizing it, and I'll even try to give you a few steps of how you can do it in a fun, happy, loving way where everybody wants to be involved. Another thing I once heard that I thought I wanted to share with you is if you look at your home as a mikdash ma'at, and you're the kohen in the mikdash ma'at, you're going to start looking at housework, if it's laundry or cooking suppers or shopping, just to name a few. They're not so tedious anymore, and that they're really important, and it's an important role that you're playing and fulfilling. Because just like the Kohanim were entrusted and given a gift and a responsibility to keep Hashem's house clean and organized, same to us. We're doing the same thing in our home, living in an organized space. It's liberating, and it's extremely beneficial to our family and to even those that come to visit in our home. Beneficial reasons why keeping an organized home. First of all, just people coming into your home. Even your own children, your husbands, they come home after school, or they come home after a day of work, and you walk into a home that there's the supper's prepared and the beds are made. But, of course, we'll get to that in a minute. The environment is just calmer and less stressed. You could also have surprise guest. Your kids can bring home their friends, or your mother-in-law can walk in one day, surprise, I'm here, and you don't have to start like freaking out and throwing everything under the kitchen table, like with a big tablecloth type of thing. But being organized definitely has its good qualities. Besides that, it saves us time, and we know time is very precious. It saves us money, and it also will save us with just a less stressful life. If I could I want to just touch on that, meaning like when we talk about time, it could be the morning routine, getting the kids out of the door, making sure that their homeworks were put in their backpacks and breakfast is prepared, or that children know where to get their breakfast. Their shoes, they know where it is, and not look scrounging around the house trying to find where their other shoe is. Their coats and scarves and mittens. When everything has a place, things are just it's just easier to find. Listen. Again, when it comes to organizing, there isn't the one size fits all because we all are different. But if you set up a system that works for your home, it definitely has its assets, and you'll definitely be able to. You'll have a smoother morning, or when they come from school, or planning for a party or a Yom Tov. Having a few systems intact will definitely make your day run smoother. Also, let's also take into account that we all are different. We all have different lifestyles. Some of us work, some of us don't. Some of us have cleaning ladies. Some of us would like to have them more often. Some of us are morning people. Some of us are night people. And we all have different strengths and weaknesses, and qualities. And not all of us have that organizing skill in us. But do not fear, because with just a few baby steps, you can all be on this road of getting somewhat organized. If you feel like you can't do it yourself, you can always reach out to one of your children. You'd be surprised who are organized. You can reach out to a friend, a neighbor, a cousin, a professional organizer, just to get you started. And you'll see once you start, it's really it's like a revelation. It's a liberation. You're liberated, because you'll see how much smoother, and you won't be frantic trying to find the Scotch tape because you have to wrap a gift and you're running out the door to the bar mitzvah, the wedding. Also, just want to mention, I had said something about, we said time, also money, even with paying your bills. Having a system in place that it's either it's automatic on the computer, or you have a system of where you keep your mail so that you can at the right date pay your bills. You don't have to pay an overfee for it. Also, when you go shopping, grocery shopping or clothing shopping, having once again a system in your pantry closet or a system in your children's bedrooms. This is all ways of just saving you money. And lastly was stress. If you can follow the time and the saving of the money, there should be somewhat of a less stress. And always keep in mind that one home is different than the next. In one home, someone likes tchotchkes all over her kitchen, whereas the other home likes a complete countertop clean. So there's no right or wrong way of doing it. It's what works for you. And always remember that, again, in organizing, it's not the one size fits all. It's what works for your family. I can continue just by saying with getting like the family involved. Definitely, if we can at a young age give our own children ownership and responsibility, of course age appropriate, where things belong. There's designated areas. There's a saying that says likes with likes, and everything has a home. Likes with likes would be in your children's room. All their shoes would go together, or all their T-shirts would be together. In a pantry closet, all your cans can be in the same place. All your baking supplies. Think of that's what the saying is when we say likes with likes. All your coats and mittens hang in the front closet or any closet that's where it hangs. You want to keep things together, likes with likes. Everything has a home also means that anything in your house should have a home for it, from the smallest paper clip to a KitchenAid in your kitchen. Again, setting up a system will definitely, you'll see how the paperclip has a home and the KitchenAid has a home. And once you have a system in place, children also, they'll grow up knowing and enabling them to run a smoother, organized home too. Children should know that They should make their bed in the morning. They should put away their clothing in a hamper. It's not for, even if you have a cleaning lady, it's not something that a cleaning lady has to do. They should have their own responsibilities. They should know that after they finish homework, they should put it in their backpack. If it comes to supper, setting the table, clearing off the table. If they play with their toys, they should be able to put away their toys. If they're young, of course, with assistance from an older brother, sister, or parent, and even putting away toys. Let's make it an easy system. We want to make things that it's easy, enjoyable, and it can last. You don't want to do something that's too difficult because then you don't want to do it anymore. And talking about toys, I just want to say that I never thought a toy chest is the right thing for toys because it's just one big box you're throwing stuff in, unless you use it just for balls. Even with your toys, if you just can divide your toys, if you want to put all the people or all the Legos or all the blocks, if you separate them, it doesn't matter how they even put them in, but if they're in their own bins or boxes, however you do it, that's already a system. And kids should also know, talking about the children, if they open up markers, they should close the markers. They should put them away. If you leave your bike out, you have to put it away because sadly there will be consequences because if God forbid, they leave their bike out and it's stolen, they just lost their bike. So we're just showing them ways of ownership, that you're responsible for your things. And just like they're responsible for their things, once, let's say, if you decide to get them new toys, they could also know that, hey, if I get a new toy, I have to get rid of a toy. There's only so much space, and let's donate it, or let's give it away. So you're teaching them this wonderful mitzvah of even sharing and giving to someone else. Since you got something new, let's give it to someone else. So running an organized home, there are so many mitzvahs that you're teaching your children that I mentioned one day they'll be mothers and husbands and fathers, and they will be able to give it over to their children, and so on and so forth. Very important that when we do all this, it should definitely be in a fun and loving way. Remember that it's a gift that we got. We are the Kohanim in our own Beis HaMikdash. We are the Akeres HaBayis. And if we can just do this without complaining and, today I have to make supper, oh, God, I have to go to the store and buy stuff, the kids see that. Oh, no, it's Shabbos again. Our kids see that. Our kids feel it. And we want our children to see a beautiful Shabbos. And yes, I love making supper for you. And yes, your laundry is clean. And at a certain age, one day they'll do their own laundry, even in their own home. Or at a certain age, maybe children have to do their own laundry even in their home they live in now. But if they see that it's done in a happy, good attitude way, they'll take that out and carry it with them through life. But there are times that there should be a mutual understanding that sometimes husbands and wives, things change. A mommy has a baby. The husband's off to work, or he has a business trip and he's not home. So at those times, we should all know that it's not my job, your job. It's our home, and we all can fill in for when something isn't going the way it goes every single day. Just because maybe in some homes the father takes out the garbage, it doesn't mean that when he's not there, the garbage is staying in the house. We all play parts, and we all try to chip in when we can. This is a way that our children see good behavior, and that, we all chip in. It only makes the home a home where you're teaching your children good manners, respect, sharing, love. We're all in it together, and it's definitely a useful tool and something that's extremely helpful for you, for them, for the future, and just in life in general. I did want to give some tips that I said I would. So I had mentioned about everything has a home and likes with likes, but there's one more thing that now with Pesach around the corner, you're going into your, let's say your children's room, and it's like, oh my gosh, where do I begin? So a cool thing to do is literally to get yourself 4 bins. Personally, I like clear bins. Once they're not clear, you don't know what's in there. Yes, you're going to label it, but something with having something see-through, I find is easier. And you do toss, donate, mend cleaners. If you feel like you'll have a garage sale, you can do that as a 5th bin, and things that you want to keep. And literally as you touch the items in the room, or if you start with the drawers, if you feel like it's torn or it has a yellow stain or you're never going to wear it again, in that bin can even be the garbage can. You literally just throw it out and you don't look back. Then you have those things that you feel like, you know what, I'm not going to use it, but let me donate it. So definitely have the bin for donate. And if you feel that, you know what, I have a few organizations I'd like to donate to, I would even have a few bins for that. So that, I know it sounds like you're going to have bins, bins, and bins, but this will just get you organized. Sometimes to get organized, it becomes more messier. There's a bigger mess. But once you've sorted into these toss, donate, men cleaners, garage sale, keep, you'll see that once you put things back, you have a nice amount of space, and those bins can get totally taken out. You would try to donate as soon as you fill up the donate bin. Try to put it into your car, and the next time you're in the area, donate it. The men cleaners is, again, like if you find some clothing that you feel like, oh, they're really nice, but it has a hole or the buttons fell off, put it in there and get to that. Either if you do it yourself or maybe the next time you're at the supper table and the children are doing their homework, you can send them in at that time. Or if you give it to a seamstress, it doesn't matter. Or if your cleaning lady is handy and she can sew for you. The garage sale one is, again, like if you find like, oh, I love making garage sales, so you have all the stuff that you want to do, so you can put it into, maybe there are bigger, you put it into the garage sale bin, and you label that bin, saying, okay, so on this and this date, I'm having my garage sale. Now, if that date happens and you didn't have the garage sale, take the bin and just donate it, because you don't want to go through it and start organizing it again.
So, Bassie, how might we get them to be really involved? Like, how can we ask them, or incentives, or what's your way?
Okay, so I feel that children, first of all, I think by living by example as much as we can, when the child sees that, yes, we make our beds in the morning and we take away our Negavasser and we put our dish in the sink, we put our shoes, in the right basket or in the right place. We just don't throw our clothing around. They're seeing. Our children are eyeing us and seeing and watching what we all do. Definitely, in a fun-loving way, not in a demanding way. Our children will not help us out at all. Even setting up systems and charts. I know growing up, we were a house full of girls, and yes, I had a brother, but we all had a job. I remember distinctly, even in my mother's kitchen, which is really small, there was a paper on the wall which changed every week. All our names were on it. Every day of the week was on it. And we all had one day. One day was our job to set the table, clear off the table, and possibly even wash the dishes. And that's what we had to do. And my parents even had boarders, and the boarders were included in the chores. Because living in a home, it's our home, and we all have to chip in. Our parents do what they can do, but we all are there to help out, because one day we will be parents ourselves. And it's really nice because even now with Pesach around the corner, everyone has to help out and clean up. I know lots of my friends have on their, let's say, kitchen or wherever they post it, all the jobs that are needed to get done, and near that job, children write their names. And they're responsible to do that job. Now, let's remember, if you're more OCD than your child, don't expect them to do it the way you like it. But at least if it's done, be appreciative. Don't knock them for not doing the exact way you wanted it, but raise him up and tell him or tell her how thankful you are that they did it, and then they'll want to do another job and take another job, up. They might take the smaller jobs and then work to the bigger ones. But just even getting them to do it is a plus.
So I heard a few things there, Bassie. First, I heard you said your brother helped out. I heard that also similarly that you said that him or her. What are your thoughts about getting the sons involved, or should there be no difference?
Oh my gosh, there is really no difference, because our children, one day they'll be fathers, and they should help out their wives. And the wives, we're there together. All right, my brother definitely helped out in the house. I even recall my father, not that it was his job, but he just always mopped the floor and took out the garbage. I'm sure he did many other things. I would see him washing the dishes also from time to time. Listen, husbands, again, today women work, men work, so you have to find a happy medium for both. But children can see that husbands and wives do share responsibility in our home. And it's a good thing because, again, they're going to grow up and image and be their own. But definitely when you're giving out jobs, there should be a clarity. It should be very small and defined of what needs to get done in the jobs and consistency. And once all the jobs are completed, it's even nice to go out to the ice cream store, nothing huge, or go out to a park. I mean, each family to what makes them happy. Go out for a supper. If it's just you want to take out the girls and go out get some like manicures. And if you listen carefully, none of these jobs are cluttering. You're not bringing anything home. It's all outside things, and it's a way of saying thank you for us all doing something for our home together. And listen, we all love getting treated. So doing these nice treats afterwards is always a nice way of saying thank you to the kids. Yes, we're all in it together, but it's still nice and appreciative for children to know that, you know what, look what our parents did for us. They took us out, or we had a fun time here, or we did something fun, in a different area. But it's always nice to get some sort of a treat. I'm not into actually paying money, but I think but again, every home, I'm not telling you what to do in your home, but every home can decide what works for them. And definitely just always remember that don't hint to anybody what needs to get done. Actually say, this is what I need done, and then it can get done. If you hint, nobody really knows what you're talking about.
That's a big one. Bassie, say that again. That's a real big one.
That don't hint?
A lot of people say, my kids should know. I don't have to say it.
Correct. You're right. Because we do it all the time. Me, myself, organize also. I feel like, oh, my gosh, it's Friday afternoon. Do I have to tell everybody that the floor needs to get vacuumed and the dishes need to get washed and sitting in the sink? But no. If you ask, people will do it. Even with husbands. Ask them, they will do it. And it's funny because, we'll go to the store shopping, and we just know what to buy. We need it with our list or no list. Husbands, you need to give them a list because they don't know. They'll buy exactly what's on the list. And when they come home and you're like, oh, my gosh, what about X, Y, and Z? You're like, but it wasn't on the list. So we have to be grateful that they went to the store for us and be grateful for what they came home with. We can't just think, oh, because I know what I need, my husband can read my mind. Be very clear and, define your job and be consistent. And kids will want to help out. Husbands will be happy to help out. And at the end of the day, everyone really wants to come into a home that's organized, clean. Everything has a place. I mean, even like today, I walked into my home today, and it was like such a mechaya. It was such a pleasure. It's such a pleasure. Regarding hinting, for instance, it's Thursday night, and you have X, Y, and Z to do. Right now you need the potatoes peeled and the squash peeled. Instead of just saying, okay, I need help in the kitchen, you can actually say, whatever, sweetheart, if it's your husband or if it's your child, you can say, come, Mommy really needs some help. I need the squash peeled, I need the potatoes peeled, and I need someone to sweep the floor. Can you pick one of those jobs? You can't just say, I need help in the kitchen. Actually tell them what needs to get done, and then they will be able to choose from one of those jobs. That's without hinting. Or if it's, I need something upstairs from one of the rooms. Tell them exactly what's needed to get done. Or please bring the laundry up to this room, and if you can, sort it on the different beds. Just little jobs. Or, I came home from shopping. I need help unpacking. Actually ask the child to please help you unpack and tell them what's needed. If you could please unpack this bag, and when you can pack the next bag. Don't give huge jobs to children. Give them jobs that they can see through. That they can accomplish and not feel like, oh my gosh, this is way too much work for me and I'm not going to be able to do it. You want to give a job that the child will be happy and know that, I can successfully accomplish it and put it away properly.
The other thing that worked for me is that when the job was done and it was like, oh wow, we have an extra half hour, we can do something. So the kids see the exact correlation between, we finished together.
You're right, 100%. You're right, 100%. That when there's more time, because again, being organized gives you time. You're not so busy, frantic, running around trying to figure out where we should put, the groceries. It took you less time because A, everyone's helping out and pitching in, and B, everything has a home. The kids know, all the baking supplies go here, all the cans go there, the potatoes and onions go in this bin over here. If everything has a place, it's easier to unpack. The spices go over here. Tissues go upstairs in a closet. I don't know, I'm just saying. So when everything has a home, the kids know where to put things. And yes, there is more time, And then it could be, hey, you can go read, or you can let's go play outside, go play outside before supper. They even get out on the spot. They're getting an instant gratification because they're able to do something else because they finished their chore so quickly.
Just another thing that I was reading recently, when we're expressing gratitude to them, there's also put that last piece in, that because we all did this together, we now have more time, or because we all did this together, we can bake cookies now. So that kind of thing of that, why it was
it's
so
teamwork.
Thank you. Not only thank you, but what the benefit to all of us was, or to
correct.
You're
right. Listen, I teach, and in school I'm always like, Yeladim, it's teamwork. We're all in this class. It's not you, and you. Everyone, because we're one team and we're one class, we can do all these nice things. It's not because, Sarah said a kind word to the next girl, we're going to have this extra treat. No, because the whole class is a kind class, we're going to be able to play outside for an extra few minutes, whatever it is,
Right.
Being a team, being in it together, the whole family included is, it makes the family really, you clean. What did they say? They say cleanliness is next to godliness. Because it really is, we all stay together and we all clean together. It's a happy home. That's what it is at the end of the day. Listen, you think of yourself and you walk into your home and you're not tripping over your shoes, and the dishes aren't overflowing from the sink, and the beds weren't made because you didn't make it in the morning. It's not a very attractive home to walk into. But if you can set yourself up that the first thing in the morning you do make your bed and the shoes are put away and the dishes are in the sink or in the dishwasher, and you'll get to it later. It's only helpful. It's helpful for everybody.
Yeah. So, Bassie, do you have any tips for organizing in the morning so that when you come home, there'll be a nice, clean home?
Sure. Okay. Morning routine, let's call it. So the morning routine really should start the night before, because I'm talking like with either younger children, even for ourselves. The night before, if we put out the children's clothing, and the night before, I don't know if some people have to make lunch for their children for school. Some people just have to do snacks. If the night before, also homework, their backpacks are packed, meaning their notes that had to be signed and their homeworks that were done are in their backpacks, lined up in a system per house. Everyone's home is different. But if their backpacks are lined up by the door or near the door, wherever it's supposed to be, and their shoes are where they're supposed to be, the morning will run smoother. So in the morning when they get up, they know what they have to do. Let's say get snegavasser, brush your teeth, make your bed. And yes, young children at a young age can learn how to make their beds also. And that's a very key. Making a bed is a very key way of keeping organized. Children know this is their space and they're taking care of it. And you can teach them how to make a bed, again, in a simple way. At a young age, you can help them. Once they start getting older, they can definitely do it on their own. Even putting away their pajamas, not throwing it on the floor, folding it by their pillow, or if it needs to be thrown into a hamper, that would be another system where it's either in each room, or if there's one per floor, or just one on the floor. But setting up a system will definitely make your morning routine simpler. And then once they're dressed and they have to come and eat breakfast, either breakfast is already on the table because, I don't know, the mother or the older sisters were able to put it out. And if it's not that way, the children know, in the pantry closet, the cereals are our cereals. The milk is in the refrigerator. The bowls are in the cabinet. So having everything in its place makes your morning run smoother. And it's not like, oh, my gosh, where's my homework? Did you sign it? Oh, I can't find my other shoe. Or where did I hang up my coat? Or I didn't hang up my coat. I left it over a chair where I don't know where that chair happens and ended up being right now. So when things are put away in their places, only will make the morning go smoother. And even with our own keys, like, oh, my gosh, where's my phone and where are my keys? Yeah, if your keys are hanging on the keychain or in a bin or in a little basket, wherever you keep it, or in a drawer, these are where my keys goes. I can now drive my children to school and not get frantic, oh, my gosh, where are my keys right now? And the same thing with our phones. If we know we designate a place for our phone, we hopefully won't lose that either, because today phones have so much information in them that we're like, help. Another point I just, want to say also, I was thinking is social media. Today, I grew up and there was no FaceTiming, Instagram, sitting at the computer. Some of us get lost at that. And you know what? You could spend a lot of time just on your phone. And what happened to supper and breakfast and cleaning the house or being late to an appointment? Give yourself that, if it's with a timer or whatever it is, that I will be on my phone X amount of time throughout the day or at only this time. And definitely I would not want to be on my phone when I'm picking up my children from school or at the supper table or any time that we're together, because that's all the children will see, that mommy's on the phone the whole time. And today you can see it with our society. You're walking with friends and they're texting on their phone. Like, hello, what happened to just communicating? That's a very important part, that don't get boggled down with your phone. Leave your phone somewhere else in the home and you'll get to it. It's more important to do the house chores, and then if you need to reward yourself or whatever it is, I'm just saying, you'll get to your phone and do what you have to do on your phone. If it's work-related, then of course you need your phone near you. But just always remember that, talk to your children and not through your phone. You have them here, they're present. That's the most important thing right now.
Bassie, so this question came in. I have a tiny little apartment. How can I possibly be organized?
Yes, you're right. Yes. Us, those of us that have the attics and the basements, yes, we can be way more organized than those that have small apartments. Having a small apartment only teaches us, and even others, less is more. We don't have that luxury to start storing and saving and stocking up because I went to Costco. We just don't. So we really have to minimize what we have. And every child really does not need a few pairs of shoes and a million pairs of pants and shirts. Most of us have machines. We can wash our laundry whatever day of the week you decide, if it's every day or every other day. It's just a matter of less is more. You have your few shirts, your few pants. If it's washed and cleaned, that's fine. Even with toys. Our children don't need a million toys. They're not happy with a million toys. Special, you have a few toys. You want to get new ones? No problem. Like I said in the beginning, you donate, you give away, and you're able to get a new toy. That's the only way to keep it organized in small apartments. I mean, yes, if you're lucky that your in-laws live around the corner in your area and they have space for you in their home that you can store some things, hello, definitely take up on that. If you want to start paying for storage, let's say, for instance, you're making Pesach, or you do have Hanukkah stuff, like certain things around the year that you need but you can't keep in your home, and you can pay for the storage, then you can do that too. But just remember that whatever you put into storage, definitely clearly label on boxes, and even have maybe in your own home or on your computer what you have in that storage so you know what's there. And you don't have to go buy it because you forgot that it was actually in the box that you stored it in the storage place. Small homes, little tips for small homes is, you could always buy under the bed bins, have a skirt cover around the bed where you can store things. If you have some closets with higher spaces, you could put stuff that you don't use on a regular basis up there. But with a small home, really, at the end of the day, it's just less is more. You just can't stock up, and you just can, if you live in areas where you have the luxury that the store is right around the corner or down the block and you can buy things on a weekly basis, that's just what you need to do. Those are the things that I can think about offhand.
Right. I also think that to some degree is also a mindset. There's a lot of vertical space that we could be using, and there's a lot of stuff we could be throwing out, and hooks, and even if the hook ends up having to be in the dining room, but there are hook places to be putting the kids' coats.
And you know what? And if you're not handy today, Dora, you brought up a good point. Today, the organizational market is so huge that you don't even have to be handy. You could walk into a Walmart or on Kingston Avenue or wherever you live, around the world. And if it's Target, I have no stocks in any places. I'm just saying where you can buy organizational things online. And it's like very good point, over the door. You could just hang up something over the door where in the bathroom they can hang their towels, or even in their closet they can hang their robes, over the door. There are definitely a lot of, and even another good point is, I was once organizing, just by moving some furniture in the room, you would be surprised at how much more space you get. And if you don't have the eye for it, bring in someone new, someone fresh, to say, hey, this is the room. What do you think you can do for me? How can you help me out? It could be a friend. If either it could be a professional organizer who has that eye, or it can be a friend or a sister or a cousin who has that talent in her. That, give me an idea. What else? Where do you think can I do? And you're right. Always remember shelving, because most of us just get like, could we put the shoes on the floor? But if you're able to have a space where you can put a few shelves, there you go. You can put your shoes now right on the shelf, and it took up the relief space from the floor. So, yes, there Masabi is a lot of space in a home, even if it's small, where you can put stuff. So that was a good point you brought out, Dory.
Good. And there are also, as far as, like you said, bins and things like that, there are couches that are on legs. Firstly, the room looks airier when you have those couches on legs rather than those heavy couches or benches. So and then you could put baskets underneath the couch if you get the right kind of couch for that.
Yes.
There's so much. As far as apartments, there's even apartment-sized couches. So there are ways to be doing this.
No, there are definitely. Yes. It's definitely all in the mind. And again, we all have our strengths in different areas. And if you feel that you don't have the strength in being organized, call someone in to help you out. It's just such a relief. It's like you walk into again, everyone's organizational is different, but just walking to a home where your bed is made, simple, very basic. Your bed is made, laundry's in the hamper, dishes are either in the sink or the dishwasher or already had put away. Just those three things, it's already better. If you could just get into the habit of putting, as soon as you take something off, put it away. The children come home. Like you said, it might not be the prettiest thing. Have hooks at their height that they can hang up their coats and their backpacks. Not everyone has a foyer or an area. Find something that works for your family, and that works. If it's a big basket for all their boots, have that in there. Or if it's a nicely neat, like little boxes for their shoes, let them put it there. Today, again, with this market out there are so many ways to get organized, but don't feel that I'm starting to get organized now, I'm running to the store to buy stuff. No, don't do that. Because then you're going to buy all these things that you have to return or never return, and it just gives you more clutter. First, you go into the room, you want to assess your room, and then see what I can go buy to make my room look more organized. Don't feel like you're running out now to get the stuff before you even know what you need. Because, again, you'll just end up with more clutter, which you're trying to take away from you and not add to it.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. Have a plan before you run out to Walmart or Target.
Right, for sure. But then you'll end up with what you don't want, and then it's even worse.
Or worse, having to work with the buckets that you bought, and then they're not really the right size.
Within your own home, you'd be surprised of things that you have that can be used and useful. But I feel like if something is broken or discolored or just not working properly, get rid of it. Don't, unless you have a handy husband or a handy whatever, or you're handy. But anything that you're not going to be able to fix, just get rid of. And especially if it's going to sit around for a long time, just toss it. You could always get something newer, smaller, cleaner, brighter. I don't know. That's what I would tell you. Even with, I just want to tell you something else. There's a cute thing, it's like whatever you can do in less than a minute, you should try to do. Don't, I keep saying making the bed, but making a bed should not take you more than a minute. Or hanging up your coat should not take you more than a minute. Or putting away your clothing should not take more than a minute. Any job that's less than a minute, try to do it right away. And you'd be surprised at, how many things you've done in less than a minute, and, the house is definitely more organized. That's another little point I wanted to bring out.
So, Bassie, this question came in, and let's see if you want to tackle this. My husband is a Slav. What can I do?
Okay. So, I must say that's definitely a tricky one. But now your husband's a Slav, but you're not? I mean, you got it put together. So
I'm
hopefully,
I'm gonna assume for this question, or maybe answer both ways.
Well, okay. You mean that either or both? That's my question. So if it's either, let's hope either or. Let's just hope that one is and one is not. Okay, let's do it that way.
Okay, all right.
Because it's easier. If your husband is like, a disorganized person, all I can tell you is that your job has just gotten a little more harder. Again, if you're the one in the home and you're the one doing the laundry and putting away the things, just keep at it, because you don't change people. You're not changing anybody. You just hope that one day he'll come to terms with it. Or you can just ask him. Again, don't hint. Just ask him, and it could be every day. Please, if you don't mind, just put your socks, in the laundry. You do the laundry, and you could put it away for him. But once he takes off his clothing, please just maybe try to make things easier for him. They sell these, I don't know if you have space. If you don't have space, they sell these things that you can hang your shirt and pants on with the keys and the coins. Maybe get him things that will be easier for him. Make his job a little easier so that he's not all over the house. You're learning from a safer. Okay, you can't put it back on the shelf. Just maybe leave it here on this table. Just try to give him little baby steps or good little tips that he can do. And hopefully, just with consistency, he'll change a drop, because we don't change people. He'll work on himself. That's the only thing I can think of.
And how about the disorganized wife?
That's
What can a husband do with that?
You know what? Get her a Goya. Get her a good cleaning lady who's organized. So that's very challenging, because we say the mother zakar habayis, but don't lose hope. You don't have to lose hope. It's a lot of work for a mother to run a home and make the suppers and make sure everything is set. Husbands, and especially if a husband isn't more of an organized person, he can definitely lend a hand, and I'm sure he does, and try to help out in any way. If they can afford help, get her the help she needs. And one day at a time. You know what I mean? It's one day at a time. Maybe your friends can chip in. I'm
just wondering if it's worth perhaps exploring what her day looks like. Perhaps she really is too busy and is not disorganized as much as has too many things on her plate.
Which is very possible. You're right. I mean, you could be organized, but your time isn't allowing you to be organized. But the truth is, even busy people, you need to set that time to get organized. If that's the case, if the case is because she doesn't have the time, then we find time to do things that we like. So yes, this might be an area that she enjoys doing, but if she could on her calendar write down, okay, on this and this day for this and this time, I'm going to organize myself. She should try to keep to that. I even heard. Just talking about husbands and wives and stuff, I even heard there's a friend of mine told me that she knows somebody who all week the wife makes supper, but on one day a week, on Sunday, the husband has more time, so he chips in and he'll make supper. So the same thing almost like with the wife. Yes, you might be busy every day and you need time for yourself, but she should definitely designate a certain time that she wants to get organized, because that's just the facts of life. To get organized, you need to set yourself time. Even organized people get more organized. Every time I'm organizing someone's home, I come back and I'm re-looking and saying, maybe I should reassess this area and reorganize it. And you'd be surprised, even in my own home, my husband will say, Bassie, I think there's too much stuff in this area. Let's get rid of it. Sometimes us as parents or us who live in the home are too attached to things. But when you get a new eye or an outsider who comes in, if it's a professional organizer or someone else, it's easier for you with getting rid of stuff. So time is a factor, and you definitely have to delegate time for that. Set a time on the calendar and try to keep to it.
So, Bassie, this has been great. How could someone get in touch with you?
Okay, so you can definitely WhatsApp me or call me. I'll give you my number. It's a 203-645-9666. 9264. That's my direct line, and you can call me. Right now, that's what I have. You can ask. Yeah.
On the Adai website, where we have the recording of this, we'll also have some tips from Bassie, and we'll also have her phone number there as well, and ways to contact her.
Okay, so I want to thank you for having me, and I just want to say that, remember, just take those baby steps. You can all do it. Be practical, and reward yourself by going out with friends, with your children, and have a kosher and Freilich and Pesach. Thank you, Devari.
Thank you, Bassie. Thank you.
Okay, take care. Bye. Bye.